What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bad Religion, as well as Luca and a back leg stretch. And yes, we're going to listen to a tune that I can't believe I haven't reacted to. I'm pretty sure I've reacted to multiple versions or recordings of Bad Religion's Part 3, and I'm pretty sure also I've reacted to Part 4, the Index Fossil, but I don't think I've ever reacted to Part 2, the Numbers Game, which is part of Suffer 1988, one of the all-time best punk rock albums, and one of 3 albums of theirs that I rank in the very highest tier, along with the next 2, No Control and Against the Grain. If I have a perfect, or rather a favorite among the 3, it would probably be No Control, but Suffer, it's right there. I'd probably say No Control, a half step, Suffer, and then another half step Against the Grain, and then a notable step before I talk about the other albums, almost all of which I love to a great deal as well. So that's a long way of saying that this comes from an album that I think is nearly flawless, and it's an excellent tune on the album, and I'm surprised that I didn't react to it in the early phase of this channel when I was doing a lot of Bad Religion reactions, which I'm trying to get back to along with a number of other things. But yes, it's a short tune. Again, it's classic early hardcore punk, I suppose. Not necessarily early because this is 88, so it's like the second wave sort of hardcore, but it is a tune very much in the hardcore punk rock style. And yes, it talks about essentially US imperialism, the idea of trying to dominate while you're talking about liberating, the idea of being the most proficient in the development of technology, but it's almost all used for weapons technology and surveillance and devices and processes which are inherently subjective and oppressive. And indeed, you know, I don't talk about politics too much on this channel, but it's another tune which feels like it's as relevant now as it was when it was written. So yes, and it talks about the use of religious iconography and populism to facilitate, to manufacture consent for these endeavors of imperialism and global domination. So it's a tune that's definitely taking a shot at some of the worst national impulses, specifically for the US. Of course, some of these same ideas can be extrapolated to other contexts, but I do feel like this one is more singularly focused. Let's give it a listen. This is Bad Religion. The tune is Part 2, The Numbers Game, and it's from their 1988 album, Suffer.
It's superficial progress, they call it liberation. With opiates up to a carpet, brother schemes of rule nation. We're one nation under God, we stand above the rest. With mighty high technology, we're never second best. Our specialty is infiltration. Prepare yourselves for subjugation, victory through domination. Bombs up in a big eye in the sky. The government observes them with their own electric eye. We're one nation under God, we stand above the rest. We're mighty high technology, we're never second best. Our specialty is infiltration. Prepare yourself for subjugation. October times, illiterates and indigents of every shape and size. Don't stop beneath this group who say participate in their own demise. We're one nation under God, we stand above the rest. With mighty high technology, we're never second best. Our specialty is infiltration. So pack your bags, you federal nation, victory through domination.
It says what it's going to say, front and center. It just really gets it and leaves it while it's still smoking. So yeah, it's just classic early Bad Religion sound, or I suppose I should say second wave Bad Religion sound. Their earliest stuff definitely sounds more raw than this, and it's a bit less polished, but the beginning of the band's really notable success, I would say, is this album and the ones that followed. And I think this is their best sound. Nevertheless, I do once again enjoy Greg's scratchy voice. It's maybe not quite as scratchy as on the very earliest stuff, which is conveniently all assembled in the 80-85 compilation, the scene up there, and for which I've reacted to a number of tracks from that era as well. But it still has a bit of scratch to it. It's not quite as melodic as Greg's singing began to reach in the 90s and early 2000s, but I do think this is just a perfect example of what Bad Religion was doing at the end of the 80s, both lyrically and sonically. I also think they played it in the concert tour for which I did a watch-along of the DVD along the way, which is a tour they did of Germany. And I do believe this song was played during that documentary, that like concert video. And yeah, ultimately it's just rocking, it's fast, it's got wicked guitars, and Greg is just, belting out the lines at his very best. So yeah, it's a fantastic tune. I'm surprised I hadn't reacted to it already. It is a classic, although I say that pretty much about everything they did during this era. But really, when I looked because I took out Suffer, and I was like, is there anything I haven't reacted to on here? And I just started typing some of the names of the tracks into YouTube Studio, because it'll just bring up anything that is exactly, spelled the way that you're writing. And then I wrote Numbers Game, and it didn't come up. It was like reaction, or like video 0. I was like, wait, what? That's not possible. So yes, I quickly did like Bad Religion part, and I saw, as I said, that I reacted to part 3, then a live version of part 3, then a version of part 3 from the vinyl that Paulie sent me, and I think part 4, the index fossil, but no part 2. So yeah, we're here to catch up to it now. Do let me know what you think, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.